This video will cover some of the new features within Docs on Tap and in particular focus on the annotation features. I will start by navigating to an agenda document and I'll swipe the sidebar away so I can see the document full screen. The action buttons down the bottom of the screen have been updated to include a new feature to assist with annotations. By tapping on the pencil icon, I activate the annotation toolbar, which appears at the top of the screen. Starting from the left, the first icon is the highlight pen, underline, strike through, and a squiggly underline. We then have the notes icon, a free format pen, followed by typed notations. The rest of the icons provided are our drawing tools and include a rectangle, ellipse, line, and an arrow. The Done button is important in that not only does it indicate to the app that we have finished with the notation options, but also saves the annotations that we've made to the document. Think of it as a save and close option. There are a couple of things to understand with the behaviour of the application when we are in the annotation mode. Firstly, if I tap on the Done button and exit out of this mode, you'll notice that down the bottom of the screen, the action buttons for page layout and annotations are available to me. Once I tap on the annotation icon, the app switches into this mode, makes inactive the page layout and annotation buttons, and activates the annotation toolbar, which appears at the top of the page. At this point I can still scroll through my document, but once I get to a page I want to annotate, the selection of one of the options from the toolbar effectively locks the page, and the only way I am able to move to another page is to use the navigation arrows at the bottom of the screen. Also notice how the submenu for the selected tool appears over the top of the main toolbar. In this instance, I tapped on the highlight pen, and as soon as I swipe over some text with my finger, the highlighter is automatically applied. I can continue to add highlights to this page simply by swiping the text I want highlighted with my finger. Also, if I want to change the colour I'm using, I can tap on any of the predefined colours from the submenu and then start using them. I'm just tapping on each colour one at a time, but notice how the icon on the left of the screen changes to indicate which colour I have selected. I will go with red, and as soon as I start swiping the text, a red highlight is applied. You can set a user-defined colour by tapping on the Custom button, and then tap on the colour palette to select your own colour over and above the default options. Notice that when you select your colour, you can use the slide bar down the bottom to darken or lighten your selection. Once you have got the colour right, tap on the Choose Colour button, and you can then start highlighting using that. When I've finished marking up with the highlighter, by tapping on the Done button, I am put back into the annotation mode. From here, I can scroll on to the next page and start the process over again. If I select the underline option, you will notice on the submenu I have another option which lets me set the thickness of the line. I can move the slider to whichever thickness I want and use that. Other tools that use this setting will by default inherit the setting I make whenever I alter this option. So if I set it like this and go and change the tool I'm using, notice how the setting stays the same. The same concept applies for the colour selection. Whichever colour selection I make will be used by all annotation tools until I change it. Now if I want to remove any of the annotations that I've made, I can only do that when I have the annotation toolbar active, as I have here. To delete annotations, all you need to do is a single tap on the markup you want to remove and select the delete option. You can just go along and delete anything you don't want anymore. The rest of the annotation tools work pretty much in the same fashion as I've already covered, but I'll just briefly go over the Note tool and the Drawing tools. To add a note to the page, you need to select the note icon from the toolbar and then tap on the document where you want to place the note. Type in your note, and when you've finished, tap on the Save button to close it. Unlike the other tools, however, if you want to add another note, you will need to reselect the note icon and tap again on the page to create a new note. If you want to edit the note, tap on it and select the note option like this. You can then modify the note as needed. Now the last annotation tool I want to talk about is the Drawing tool, where you can set the fill colour. This is only available on the rectangle and the ellipse tool. So if I select the rectangle option, you can see how I can add one to the page by just drawing where I want the object to appear. You'll notice that I can select the fill color for the object. If I tap on this option, a submenu appears and I can select the color that I want to use. So if I go with yellow and then draw a rectangle, you can see how it appears. I can use the opacity setting to make the fill transparent. So by altering that setting and redrawing another rectangle, you can see the effect of modifying the opacity if you're using the fill option. If you don't have fill color in the object, then you will need to tap on the fill button and select the custom option, and from there tap on the choose empty option. This will remove the fill color from any more objects I draw on the page. Notice how the opacity needs to be reset as well once you remove the fill. The object looks a bit bland otherwise. Finally, the last thing to cover is once we're out of the annotation mode and simply viewing a document. To view a note, you just do a long tap in the object that has a note on it. So here I can long tap on the note icon and view the details of that note. Although I haven't covered it in detail in this video, any object you add can have a note. So if I do a long tap on this object, the app will open up the note viewer, even if you haven't added a notation to the object. So in summary, the key things to remember are that the pencil icon activates the annotation mode. You can only add, edit and delete annotations when in this mode. Once in this mode, you can move through the document, but once you select a tool to use, you are locked on the current page. You can control the color, thickness and where relevant, the opacity of the object. Tapping done on a submenu, which appears when you have selected a tool, puts you back into the annotation mode just described. Tapping done on the main toolbar closes the annotation toolbar and saves the changes you have made. When the annotation mode is off and you are just viewing the document, a long tap on an annotation object permits you to view the note associated with that object. We hope that this video assists you with working in Docs on Tap, and please view our other videos on our Docs on Tap YouTube channel.